Did you know that your state is the national leader in a very important aquaculture category? And it's not even close. We'll show you why Arkansas dominates the minnow market. Also, we'll have a First Fish ×2 on this episode of Arkansas's Great Outdoors. Each week we show you what is great about Arkansas's Great Outdoors. Now, some of the things you know about, like our show commemorating the 50th anniversary of the Buffalo River. But other things you may not know about, like did you know that over 90% of all of the farm-raised bait fish in the country comes out of Arkansas? Certified Arkansas bait fish is a $400 million industry in this state. Today we'll talk to the folks at I.F. Anderson Farms in Lone Oak.
My name is Jamie Anderson, here with I.F. Anderson Farms in Lone Oak, Arkansas. We're a fourth generation bait fish farm. We have 339 ponds, over 3,400 acres of water, raising primarily golden shiners, fathead minnows, and goldfish.
This is I.F. Anderson Farms in Lone Oak, Arkansas. An industry leader, I.F. Anderson is also one of the first bait fish families in the nation. Neil Anderson and son Jamie lead this organization that started in the 1940s. The vision began with Faye Anderson, who worked as a flight instructor in World War II and realized that the land in Arkansas produced some unusually healthy minnows.
So he decided to try to raise more, and he bought some from a gentleman across the highway from us today that were caught in his rice field out of a bow. He took them back, and they handled the best of any minnows he tried to handle. And so he said, I don't know if it's the soil type, the latitude, longitude, the climate, or water quality, but he said, I've got to raise those minnows there. I don't want to try to raise them somewhere else.
Many decades later, the Anderson family is still strong in the fish business.
I was 4 years old. I was out here helping sort goldfish, the black red from the red, on the sorting table. And everybody was amazed at how easy it was for me to do. I could do twice what everybody else was doing. I hope I can feed fish till I can't drive in it. They take my driver's license away from me.
But make no mistake, while the family loves the fish, this enterprise is still around because the Anderson family is also adept at business.
We're producing a product that we sold in the 40s and 50s and 60s up till now. The world has changed. We're still trying to produce the same product and hit the same recreational market. And that market's changed, the product's changed, the demand's changed. So if you don't change in how you produce it or what you produce, it's gonna fail on a generation at some point. You know, but I think a company that has produced the exact same thing for decades, it says a lot that they're still rolling, because you have to be very innovative to be able to do that. And 20 years from now, we're not gonna be profitable doing exactly what we're doing today. There's no way. The world's changing too fast. So every year we've just got to keep up.
Neil has a unique perspective on this whole operation. He's the third generation fish farmer, 2 generations up and 2 generations down. His grandsons are already picking up some hours.
No, it's busy. It's hard to get up in the mornings. I don't want to get up in the mornings.
Knowing that your father and your grandfather and your great-grandfather and your great-great-grandfather have been involved in this, what's that mean to you?
It means a lot.
Yeah.
Pretty special.
Yeah.
Not many family businesses can claim that kind of heritage.
You think you guys can work together and make it a team effort?
Most of the time.
You gonna take mornings and Warner take afternoons?
No, I'm one afternoon.
Okay.
So you don't like the mornings, do you? All of this fish farming wisdom didn't come from a textbook. It came from hard work and correct adjustments.
Working with family certainly has its ups and downs. I mean, he doesn't, he's thinking it, he don't want to say it, but you know, I'm not the easiest to work with. We certainly butt heads. You know, I think every generation has their vision of where they want it to go, which I think we agree on a lot. We talk about it a lot. But You know, he looked at his dad's history with the business and where he'd come from, what he'd done, what he'd tried. Try not to make the same mistakes. I've tried to do the same thing. If you don't learn from the previous generation, you're in big trouble.
The first track hoe we ever bought, my dad said, "That's no good, we don't need that." And we were having trouble. We were having to lay ponds out 6 months to get in there and clean those basins or sumps out and all. And I said, "Well, we'll find out. Let them deliver it and I'll run it." And I just walked it right off M1 and started slinging the mud out of it and then pulled myself back out. And he looked at me and he said, "I believe you're right." You know, and he's done some good jobs too that I didn't think would follow through, but it has.
It's all trial and error. We just try not to repeat the errors.
Yeah. I told my grandsons, "You're going to make mistakes, just don't make them twice."
The Anderson family started from the mind of Fay Anderson, a national touring musician.
He went with the big bands, went all over all over the United States. For 10 years he did that.
An accomplished pilot.
He loved to fly. My mother always said he meant a farm so he could fly. You know, as long as he had enough money to fly that airplane by airplane, he was flying.
And an entrepreneur who started a business and a business mindset that is one of the great legacies in this industry and a model for all family businesses.
It was something that's very important to me. And my dad lived a long time and died 91 and was here with me. So I just felt like I was supporting his decisions from the past and moving them forward. And that was a big part of it.
We'll have more from the Andersons a little later in the show. Now let's bring you some new hiking tips from Mallory Lindsay of Bad Boy Mowers.
Sometimes finding signs of wildlife is a lot easier than finding wildlife themselves. They're very good at hiding. One of my favorite signs to look for are sapsucker holes. And those are horizontal holes that are drilled in by a very small bird that looks like a miniature woodpecker. And what the sapsucker is doing is drilling holes to generate sap and eating the sap and also eating the bugs in the sap. But once you see a horizontal line, if you follow all the way up, you'll see rings and rings and rings all the way to the top.
When Arkansas's Great Outdoors returns, we'll get 2 young siblings out on my Vexus boat to catch their first ever fish. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, mow with an attitude, by Vexus Boats, by H2O Marine, and by Archer's Advantage.
Where haven't we gone? What hasn't been done? What's still left to be discovered and possible beyond the horizon? How can we continue pushing limits, breaking boundaries, and leading the way? At Bad Boy, it's not just about finding the answers, it's about the pursuit. Bad Boy, mow.
We've got Ryan at Archer's Advantage here with us, and you know there are 3 main categories of bows. We've got the crossbow, the compound bow, and the traditional bow. A lot of folks might not understand the difference between the 3 and which one they might want to pursue, or maybe even all 3.
In my opinion, the difference in all 3 of them is the amount of time you have to spend with them and the commitment level that you have to spend with each type to get to, so that you are proficient at using them. The crossbow, we start out with it. That one is the easiest to use. It is more along the lines of shooting a gun. If you know how to shoot a gun, you can pretty much shoot a crossbow. It takes the least practice. It takes the least amount of time to get ready to use the crossbow. There's not a lot of target shooting that goes on with crossbows. Most of those are for hunting. Then you move from that to the compound bow. Now, compound bows take a lot more practice. They take a lot more commitment to become proficient at using that bow. There are targets, there are 3D tournaments that you can shoot. You can shoot paper targets. There are tournaments that you can shoot with these, and there's a lot of target shooting that goes on with these. And most of your bow hunters who are in the woods are using a compound bow to hunt with. Then you go on to this. And this, I tell people, shooting traditional is like getting married all over again. It is a commitment. You shoot it and you shoot it and you shoot it, and you hope in a few years you get good enough to hunt with it, if that's what you want to do. I enjoy shooting my traditional stuff probably most of anything, but I probably hunt more with a compound bow than I do anything else.
And these guys are the experts. They would love to help you find the right bow for you. Come on to Archer's Advantage. We thank our friends at Archer's Advantage for helping make this show possible. Now, it's a great time to get into archery, and the experts at Archer's Advantage would love to help you get started in the right way. Now, let's enjoy the first experience of fishing for two of our newest anglers. It's one of our favorite segments. It's called First Fish, and today we've got a first fish times 2.
I'm the minnow man.
That's Henry, and this is Millie. These two siblings are on a mission for fishing, looking for their first ever fish. Okay, look at there. You got one. Henry, reel it up, reel it up. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see, did he take your minnow? He sure did. Okay, that was a fish. So you remember when you said, was that too far away? Yeah. And sometimes they're where we think they're not. That tells us there's some dudes out there. So let's get us another minnow, okay? That would have been great, and you would have gotten 1 million hits on YouTube. I promise you. You would have been famous.
It's under the...
Oh, there you go. All right. Oh, pull away, pull away. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. Reel up. Keep reeling, keep reeling. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's huge.
Looky here. All right. You know what kind of fish that is?
What?
That's a crappie. This is a good tasting fish right here. That is a crappie. Good job. Wow. What did that feel like?
It was really powerful.
It was really powerful. Cool deal. All right. High five. Yes. Okay. In a moment, we'll see that Henry isn't finished and Millie gets on the board in a very big way. Now, each week we're bringing you the series Heart and Soul. It's the story of the best built bass boat in the country, created from the heritage of the great Forrest Wood.
When you get in one of our aluminum boats, you're going to see that it handles and performs much like a fiberglass boat, and we hear that all the time.
An aluminum boat, like you might have been familiar with previously, has been superseded with what we're doing.
We have the best aluminum boats in the market, bar none.
Is that a fiberglass boat or is that aluminum boat? You know, what is that? Well, it's our hybrid.
The boat rides like a glass boat. You tell them it's aluminum and, you know, it throws them.
This ain't an aluminum boat. It rides like a fiberglass boat.
The sound, the feel, the ride is glass boat quality.
It was extremely quiet and it handled extremely well.
The front tray's glass, the console's glass, the boxes are glass. It feels like a glass boat.
These boats have an attitude to them. They're great to fish out of. They perform like a fiberglass boat.
It's robust, it's solid, it rides great, but it's sporty. It's just a darn blast to fish out of.
It's not your granddad's aluminum boat. You know, it's something completely different than anyone else out there builds.
We put the throttle down? That thing's on plane in less than 3 seconds.
If you're an aluminum buyer, this boat is tailored for you.
Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, mow with an attitude, by Vexus Boats, by H2O Marine, and by Archer's Advantage.
The best leaders don't just forge ahead, they adjust. Bad Boy Mowers has made adjustments at every turn, including our revolutionary 3-link suspension. Built tough and designed for superior performance and speed. Adjust the seat, handles, and pedals however you want. And as for Bad Boy's rebellious spirit, well, that hasn't adjusted at all. Bad Boy, mow.
When we last left off, 9-year-old Henry had just caught his first ever fish and even showed a little fishing intuition, casting in his own direction, which resulted in some fish action.
I got one!
Okay, all right, here we go. Okay, looky here, looky here. Okay, do you know what kind of fish this is?
Another crappie, yeah.
A crappie.
Yep.
That's a crappie. But now it is big sister Millie's turn. Let me get the net. All right, keep retrieving. Oh, you got a big one.
Gosh,
Oh, you got a big one. Keep it coming.
That
Oh.
is huge!
Oh, you got a very, very big fish. Look at this right here. Boom. That is a largemouth bass, and that is a big one. Yes. Oh, man. Look at that. That is awesome. That was a heck of a fight, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look right there. Look at that. Minnow's still alive. Gonna catch another big bass.
Well, I didn't expect that.
Yeah. 5 pounds and 4 ounces. A 5-pound, 4-ounce bass. That's gonna win you money in just about any tournament. All right? Here we go. Hold that up to the camera there. Isn't that awesome? What did we learn today?
How to fish, yeah.
How to fish, okay.
I'm pretty good at fishing.
Yeah? And like, for a pretty good, you mean like, are you good enough to catch a 5-pound bass?
Yep.
Yeah. High five? Yeah? Good. It's always good to see someone catch their first ever fish, and then their second and their third. And what a first fish for 17-year-old Millie, 5 pounds, 4 ounces. A lot of long-time anglers have not accomplished that feat. What a start for Millie. Now, when Arkansas's Great Outdoors returns, we'll get back to the water with Jamie Anderson of I.F. Anderson Farms in Lonoke. Arkansas's Great Outdoors is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers, mow with an attitude, by Vexus Boats, by H2O Marine, and by Archer's Advantage.
Where haven't we gone? What hasn't been done? What's still left to be discovered and possible beyond the horizon? How can we continue pushing limits, breaking boundaries, and leading the way? At Bad Boy, it's not just about finding the answers, it's about the pursuit. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
We'd love to see how you see Arkansas. Please keep sending us your photos to photos@arkansasgreatoutdoors.com. We'll put them on the air and inspire us all about the beauty of Arkansas's great outdoors. All right, we've got Jamie Anderson here from I.F. Anderson Farms, and we are on, what do you call this lake?
Capel Lake is what we've called it.
Cape Lake?
Capel.
Capel Lake.
Capel
Okay.
Lake for years and years. The gentleman, Gus Capel, that my granddad bought this property from, that's what it's named after.
Okay, all right. Well, we kind of nicknamed it the Big A for Anderson. You know, we've got Lake Okeechobee in Florida, and this lake can be just as plentiful as Lake Okeechobee. So we call it the Big O, the Big A. Well, we'll call it Capel Lake. We want to honor the history and the heritage, and also we're going to talk a lot about the minnows that we use to catch the fish, how they come to be, and we'll talk about that certification process as well, because that's really important to understand, so that all these fish go all over the country and they're healthy, hardy, and safe, certified disease-free, invasive species-free, and if you want to catch fish, you use minnows. Live bait catches fish, because that's how nature intended us to do it.
All natural.
All right, so what we're going to do, you have always told me about this tree that's right out here in the middle. And he always says, oh yeah, people catch fish there all the time. And I have caught fish all over this lake except at that tree. So that's where we're going to start today.
Sounds good. That'd be my spot.
Okay.
Generally, if you're fishing live bait, you can throw it right next to the base of that tree and maybe ease it out a little bit if you're cork fishing.
I'm going to spare you the drama. We don't catch any fish anywhere near the magic tree again, and that's on me. Karma is very real in fishing. A defeatist attitude will find a fish's lateral line all day long. So we moved to a new area. A beast. All right.
Take 10 more just like it.
Yep. I'll tell you what, he's a hardy guy too.
I call those taco bass because that fillet is the perfect size for a fish taco.
Oh, it is, yeah. There we are. Okay. One of the things I've learned when I've traveled the country and I talk about certified Arkansas bait fish is that almost no one is aware of the impact that Arkansas has on the bait fish community. 90 to 95% of all the farm-raised bait comes out of 3 counties in Arkansas.
Right.
And, you know, we talk about, everybody knows the Florida oranges and the California raisins and the Arkansas bait fish.
We knew that we needed some way, whether it was mandatory or not, to show these states across the country that we all deal in that we are already being proactive, certifying ourselves disease-free of all these diseases they were concerned about, having site inspections done by the Arkansas State Plant Board as to zebra mussels, different plants, and other animals that states are concerned about. And we believe it paid off. In a 2-decade history of being free from any of that stuff. And we're inspected twice a year. Most states only require once a year, but we do it twice a year because there's a state or two that prefers that.
Well, and some states have more delicate fisheries than others, and so they're a little more sensitive, but that's where that certification process comes in. It gives them confidence. Now, a lot of folks don't realize the damage that wild-caught bait does to the fishery. You know, because if you take a lake that's diseased, catch a bunch of wild-caught bait there, transfer it over, now that disease is in the body of water you want to fish.
Well, there's been dozens and dozens of species spread all across this country through either wild bait transfer or through pet stores, you know, pets being released.
There we go. Okay. There's Eden.
That's an eater.
Yes, that's like the perfect size for an eater.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Your family doesn't go hungry, do they?
No. We eat lots of crappie and bass.
Yeah. Crappie. A lot of people, if you've never had crappie, you don't realize that's the best tasting freshwater fish.
Without question.
Yeah. And good stuff.
Without question.
Yeah.
I'll take that fish over anything any day.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's how the magic happens. You get the right bait, you get the right fish, and you get the right food. There we go. Well, that's a nice size crappie. Oh, here.
This side should be. If we reached in, could we get the bait back out?
Yeah, you probably could, and a lot of times. You know what's great about this fish? This fish has a story like any other. We were just wrapping up, talking on the dock, but I had a minnow just sitting here off the side of the boat, and next thing you know, the rod starts falling out of the boat. We had to grab the end of it and pull this in. So that's what happens when you have good, lively minnows. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. On a hook with no minnows on it.
Hook flavored, or minnow flavored hooks.
That's right.
That's all you got to do now.
Yeah.
You got bait fish scented hooks.
Minnow flavored hooks. Now that's a great product idea for 2023. I appreciate Jamie Anderson spending some time with us on the water. We learned a lot about what makes those magic minnows healthy, hardy, and safe. Certified Arkansas bait fish. Also, a First Fish segment ×2. Henry and Millie, brother and sister, 2 new anglers. We'll see you next time on Arkansas's Great Outdoors. Thanks for watching.